it's Rachel, and I'm gonna do another video with some ab focus again. The last video with ab focus got a lot of views, so I'm assuming that's something people want. Before I start the activity, I just wanted to say, I've posted this on Facebook before, but I just want to be clear, these videos are something I'm enjoying, and I love to get to provide content for and practices for my students. It's keeping me sane right now. You'll notice they're pretty casual. My dog walks in and out. I make mistakes, and that's kind of intentional because I want to make it clear these practices aren't a replacement for a regular class. And if you are financially able to afford to take online classes at your local studio to support your teachers, your local yoga teachers, as well as do these videos, I just really want to encourage you to do that right now. I'm okay right now. I'm married and have I'm okay for myself, but this is a hard time for a lot of people, and I just don't want these videos to become competition for people who really need the income from yoga teaching. So my compromise is doing videos. You don't get to ask questions or get feedback. It's not like an online class that way. It's more just a guided practice because I want to support people right now, especially if you can't afford to be taking online classes or haven't found one that works for you. I definitely want to support you in your practice. And like I said, these classes are keeping me sane, so I'm going to keep posting videos. But do, if possible, if you're able to, continue to support your other yoga teachers, please, who might not be in such a fortunate position. Okay, with that in mind, after that little bit of sadness, you might want to have a block. If you don't have a yoga block, you could take a towel or a blanket and roll it into a little cushion. We're gonna be eventually putting it in between our knees, and we want our knees to be hip width apart. So just letting you know if you need to stop your video and go set that up for yourself, to either have a block or some kind of blanket available for you. And hi Nellie, and we're gonna start lying on our backs. I do that a lot. I'm lying on my back with the feet on the floor, knees bent. Don't worry, we'll get to the abs soon enough. Give yourself a few moments to just check in with your body and your breathing. Do you feel your whole chest opening as you inhale, receiving the fresh breath? Can you feel the softening move through your whole chest when you exhale? Can you feel your feet on the floor? All 10 toes? Don't worry about it if you can't. Just inquire. What can I notice? What can I feel? If you're practicing at home, you might notice sounds, movement in the background. There's nothing wrong with noticing things. That's what we're doing. Yoga is at its heart a very observational practice. So let yourself notice things. Don't judge yourself or consider it getting distracted. You're just noticing. Keep breathing. Deep breath in, deep breath out. And then we're going to stretch our right leg up towards the ceiling. And you could use a belt around that foot or hold the back of the leg. One thing my regular students know is I never do abs without warming up the hamstrings a little bit first. Our hamstrings, when they are tight, can pull on our low back a little bit. So for me, it's very important to take a few moments to really stretch through the backs of the legs before I do a lot of ab work. I feel that's important for my back. So pressing up through that right heel, let's move that right leg just a little bit to the left, keeping the back of your right pelvis and shoulder on the floor. Good. Bringing that leg back up, and if it's comfortable, open that right leg any amount out to the side. Trying not to lift off the back of the left hip. You'll notice I'm kind of close to my couch here, but it's okay because if I went over any further, I'd be lifting my left hip off the floor. So Keeping the back of both sides of your pelvis on the floor, lengthening out through that inner heel on the right leg. And bring that right leg back up, bend the knee, foot to the floor. And we'll go ahead and stretch that left leg up towards the ceiling, flexing that foot, relaxing the shoulders. As always, make sure that you really notice. You can support your leg with your hands and your belt if you'd like, but notice that your arms don't have to work super hard. Your leg carries you around all day. I say that all the time to my students, and I can never say it enough. Trust the strength of your legs here. And then we'll keep the back of our left pelvis on the floor. Move that left leg just a little bit over to the right. Again, keeping that leg strong, noticing how the stretch shifts when I move my leg. Come back up to center. And now, well, this one's a little interesting, talking about my amateur style videos. I'm going to open my left leg out to the side. Oh, Nellie, you're right about in the right place, that I can still keep the back of my right pelvis on the floor and stretch out through my left leg. Keeping that leg strong, the breath deep. Remember, the practice is for you. It's your yoga practice. So do what feels right and comfortable for you. Bring that leg back up, put that foot on the floor. I'm going to take my yoga block. Again, you could put your blanket between your knees. Sorry, babe, you're not going to like this now. Now, the purpose of the block between my thighs here is I'm going to be moving a little bit with my abs and my upper body, and I don't want my pelvis to be rocking around from side to side. I want to have a lot of stability through the lower back pelvis region. So I'm going to encourage just a slight inward pressure on the block just to maintain that sense of stability through the lower pelvis. And then I'm going to interlace my hands behind the back of my head. I'm going to be moving first just on the right side and then just on the left side. So I'm not going back and forth here. It's going to look like I'm moving with my elbows. I'm actually moving from my core. I'm moving from my obliques. I just want us all to be aware of that. And so it's going to look like I'm moving my right elbow kind of towards my left hip as I keep my left elbow on the floor. And I come up as I exhale and come down as I inhale. And I come up as I exhale and down as I inhale. And I'm just going to do this following my own breath. And just move gently, exhaling up, inhaling down. And we will do the other side in a moment. I don't like going back and forth because I feel like a lot of us really jerk our neck around when we do that. So I feel a lot more mindful when I go one side and then the other. Good. Okay. And then next time you come down, just switch the interlace of your fingers if that's appropriate, putting the other index finger on top behind your head. And we'll lift up the left elbow, but again, it's not primarily an elbow action, it's a belly action. And by using my obliques, I'm lifting the back of my left shoulder off the floor. I'm still keeping the back of my right shoulder on the floor. And I'm going nice and slow with my breath, right? A lot of people really push so fast with these. You actually build more strength with slow, controlled movement rather than using momentum. So give yourself lots of time. Exhaling up, inhaling down. And just one more. And come on down, switch to interlace. Now, if that was a lot for you, stay right where you are with your feet on the floor. If you'd like to up level, lift your feet off the floor. Calves are kind of parallel to the floor. Ooh, my ankles are clicky today. You can have your feet pointed or flexed. I like mine flexed, but do what feels good for you. And we're going to do the same movement we just did. So again, if you want to keep your feet on the floor, do so. And we'll just exhale that right elbow up Inhale it down. And I'm just moving again really gently. Using my belly. Supporting myself as I come up with the back of my head supported with my hands so my neck isn't feeling this. My belly is still on the right side. Just a couple more. Take breaks whenever you want. Keep pressing in on that block. And if you want to switch the finger interlace, do so. And we'll move over to the left. Oof. My tip here is I always start on the right because it's my stronger side. And then I make myself go as long on the left as I went on the right. So otherwise it's easy for me to set the time as short if I start on the left. Keep breathing. Exhaling up, inhaling down, exhaling up, inhaling down. Just a couple more, noticing how this feels. And putting your feet down and taking the block out. You're really not going to like this next one, Mel. Sorry, babe. Putting your hands back behind your head, stretch the legs up towards the ceiling. I'm going to do one more thing on our back right now. If this gets difficult for your back or your hamstrings, bend your knees at any point. Don't feel like you have to do this with straight legs. We're going to open our legs out wide during this too, so just check and see if you have room to bring your legs into a straddle. And then we're going to start keeping our back on the floor, so you're going to feel the upper edge of your sacrum on the floor, and just lift your tailbone about 1/2 centimeter off the floor. You'll notice you might not even be able to see the action on the video. It's a small, small lift. Then I'm going to lift my breastbone up towards the ceiling, and I'm not curving my spine. It's a vertical lift. I'm really keeping long in my back, not rounding my upper spine. Then I'm going to open my legs out wide. I'm flexing my feet, and I'm really engaging my leg muscles, so I'm supporting my knees here. Then I'm going to lift up the tailbone a little more, draw the legs back together, lift up both the breastbone and the tailbone a little bit more, and come down. We're going to do 5 more of these. Take breaks whenever you want. Tailbone comes up, breastbone comes up, legs open out wide. Tailbone comes up, legs close. Breastbone and tailbone come up and come down. 4 more. Tailbone comes up, breastbone comes up, legs open out wide. Lift up that tailbone, draw your legs together, breastbone and tailbone up, and come down. 3 more. If you'd like to switch the interlace of your fingers to be even, do so. Tailbone comes up, breastbone comes up, legs open out wide, tailbone lifts, legs come together, breastbone and tailbone up, and come down. 2 more. Tailbone comes up, breastbone comes up, legs come out wide, tailbone lifts, legs come together, breastbone and tailbone up, and come down. Just 1 more. Lift the tailbone, lift the breastbone, open your legs out wide, strong legs, lift up that tailbone, draw the legs together, breastbone and tailbone up, and come on down. Whew, I felt that. Keeping your hands by your sides, feet on the floor, palms down if that's comfortable. If that doesn't work for you, turn your arms in any position. And we're just going to inhale, push into the floor with our feet, lift up a little bit with the pelvis, exhale, roll down. I'm not doing my full bridge right now. I'm not warmed up for that. If you want to roll up higher, if you're warm, you are welcome to. But right now, we're doing this more as a spinal roll pelvic lift than as a bridge pose. Just inhaling, lengthening up with the pelvis, feeling that length of your belly. Exhaling, rolling down. Do a couple of these. Okay. Good job. And then we'll roll to one side. Use your hands on the floor, pushing yourself up to seated. And we're going to come into a forearm plank position. You're welcome actually to do this in full plank as well, or an all fours position if you prefer. I'm going to do this next one in forearm plank, and then I'll show you the alternative on all fours. So my elbows are beneath my shoulders. My forearms are shoulder width apart, my wrists are shoulder width apart, and I'm going to work with my breath here. As I exhale, I'm going to pick up my right knee, turn my right leg out, and bring my right knee towards my right shoulder. As I inhale, I bring it back. As I exhale, I bring my left knee in. As I inhale, I bring it back. Exhale up, inhale back. If you're thinking, I'm not doing that, an alternative is to come into an all fours position. And those of you on your forearm planks, just keep going for it. You could do this from a cat-cow position, just to move the leg. Again, exhaling up, inhaling down. Good. Okay, those of us in the forearm plank, these are called mountain climbers. Quit climbing your mountain, and let's all join together on our bellies. Whew. Good job. Stretch your arms back, fingertips towards your feet. And if it's comfortable, lift your arms, legs, and chest up just a little bit up off the floor. I'm stretching my breastbone and the crown of my head forward, and my tailbone and my feet back. So I'm really thinking how long I can get in my back. I'm not caring about how high up I'm coming right now. It's more length that I'm thinking about. And then I'm going to come on down and push back to all fours. Okay. This next one, we're going to come into a full plank. If full plank is challenging for you for any reason, you could hold a forearm plank statically for this next one as an alternative. That's a great core exercise. This one I'm recommending full plank or coming to all fours because you're going to want the space between your belly and the floor. So either plank with the knees up or plank with the knees down. And we're going to bring the knee, as we exhale, across the body towards the opposite elbow. And you'll notice I'm not doing a big twisting action with my spine. I'm kind of trying to control this using my belly and my legs. So my upper body is feeling pretty stable. And I exhale the leg up, inhale it back, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale. I was going a little quickly there for a moment. And you'll probably start to feel this in your core pretty quickly. Just a couple more of these. Take breaks whenever you need to. Okay. And then one more time, we'll put our knees on the floor. Slowly roll down to our bellies. And again, stretching your fingertips back and your legs back. Inhale, lifting up any amount, but focusing more on the length than the vertical lift. So I'm lengthening my body. I'm going to grow another couple of inches. Not that I need it. It's hard enough to get me in frame as it is. Good. And then we'll come on down. And let's push back to a well-earned child's pose. And just breathing here, noticing how you're feeling. Good. And come on up. I'm going to take just a shift for a few moments, doing a seated hip stretch. Then we're going to do and then one more core focused thing and start to wind down. So for our seated hip stretch today, I'm going to cross my left ankle over my right knee, my right ankle over my left knee and my right knee over my left ankle. Lots of people don't like that. Feel free to take an alternate hip position if that feels more appropriate for you. Any other seated position you would like is totally fine. Legs don't have to be crossed. Good, I'm gonna sit nice and tall, grounding down with my hips, lengthening it up with my front body. Remember, maybe you want to use a prop here. Totally up to you. Okay, now I'd like us all to really listen to our shoulders or neck here, because we're going to lift the arms up overhead. But not everyone likes doing that. I had a student once who told me after 2 years of taking my class, she said, every time I lift my arms overhead, I get migraines the next day. What should I do? I said, stop lifting your arms over your head. I couldn't believe she kept coming back to class, that strong woman. Anyway, so if your arms overhead aren't working, don't put them up. Just lengthen upwards with the crown of the head. Keep your hands on the floor. If you can stretch up with your arms, feel the strength of your fingertips coming up. Feel the length of the arms. And just use that feeling of length to feel the length that you have through your whole torso, your core, making sure not to jut forward with the ribs, but instead lengthen. I'm drawing my low ribs slightly down towards my hips and then my breastbone up towards the ceiling. Good, and then I'm going to bring those arms down. And now I could either take my hand towards my right foot, my right hand towards my right foot. If I'm a little more mobile, I could bring the elbow there. Neither one gets you to enlightenment any faster, I promise you. So if I have my hand here, my right hand on my right foot, I turn this way and bring my left hand to the floor. And if I have the elbow, I'm going to arch that foot. I then like to lift up that fist, put the other hand on top, and ooh, I don't know if you could hear that crack on the video, that felt good. And twist. And I'm drawing my shoulder blades way back away from my ears, staying long in my core. Oh, lovely. And then we'll unwind back to center. And we'll switch the crossing of the legs. If your legs are not crossed, just do a twist with the legs straight. Any position you're in, do it. Kneeling, don't feel you have to do anything. For me, I have my left ankle over my right knee, my left knee over my right ankle. Again, you could sit in any other position. This is just the one I'm choosing today. What we're really working on is the length of the torso, grounding with the pelvis, lifting up with my upper chest as I ground down with my lower ribs, creating a lot of length in my torso. I find this to be this seems like a small thing, just lifting your arms overhead, but for me it's a big mood elevator. I use yoga for my depression a lot, and this is a alternative to a handstand. It just slightly, arms overhead can slightly raise the blood pressure, and just, it's a stimulating action that tends to bring a little more energy to those of us who get a little in a funk. So, if it doesn't feel good, bring the arms down at any point. All right, let's bring our arms down, and we're going to do our twist now. Either bringing the left hand to the left foot to twist that way, or bringing the left elbow towards the arch of the left foot and putting the right hand on top. Whatever you like. Feeling your spine lengthening, my crown of my head is stretching away from my tailbone. I'm still breathing. Okay, we're going to unwind. Onto the back. This is going to be our last kind of core thing. I'm going to start just with the hands on the knees, and I want you to roll, if you don't know what your sacrum is, Your sacrum is the bone right above your tailbone. It's like a flat circular bone in the back of your pelvis. And I want us to roll around our sacrum. So I've got my hands on my knees and I'm just feeling what it's like to roll around on the back of my pelvis around my sacrum. And then I'm going to go in the opposite direction. Okay, and then I'm going to take my hands off my knees and see if that's okay for my back. If it's not okay for my back, I'll keep my hands on my legs. And I'm going to go in the opposite direction. Okay. And now I could continue doing this activity. If I wanted a little bit more, I could straighten my legs any amount, and some people will have them a little bent. Take care of your back, please. Bend your knees. And I'm going to do some circles with my legs. Now I'm only going to lower my legs down as far as feels comfortable for my back. So if at any point, it might just be an inch or two down towards the floor. For me, I come down to about here, and that's a comfortable place for me, but play with it for yourself. And again, I'm using my core muscles, and I'm being very mindful. This is not hurting my lower back. If it was, I would stop, believe me. I'm an expert at stopping and saying, this hurts, I'm not doing it. Ask any of my teachers, I will do that. But if you'd like to, just give this one a try. And whatever variation of this you're doing, legs bent or straight, hands on knees or hands free, go in the opposite direction. Oof. Keep breathing. I'm saying that to myself. And just notice what your core is saying about all this. Good. And bring your knees into your chest, feet to the floor. Roll to one side. And if it's comfortable, take a sphinx. So your elbows will be on the floor beneath the shoulders. Draw back with your forearms, forward with your breastbone. And again, I don't know what you've done today. If you're feeling pretty warm, we can do another variation here. If you're feeling like you're at your limit with your back, stay here or else just come down and rest. If it feels okay, you could try lifting your elbows without lifting the shoulders and seeing if you can get just a little bit more length in those belly muscles. Okay, and rolling down. And we're going to come back onto our backs and do a little bit of deep breathing, and then I'm going to say namaste and encourage you to turn off the video and do a 5 to 10 minute final relaxation Shavasana pose. So, on our backs, the breathing pattern I'm going to encourage you to do here today involves some counting. And I want you to count and notice how long your inhalation is. And then when you exhale, count. And if you can do so without forcing, try and make the exhalation last longer than the inhalation. So I'm going to take a count in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then when I exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And just see if you can breathe that way, slightly lengthening the exhalation. And doing a few rounds of that before your Shavasana. I think I'm about to run out of my video capacity, so I'm going to say namaste. Thank you so much for practicing abs with me today.